Okay. Sorry about that. Hi, Zalrix. But yeah, heads up. Stream today is gonna be kind of weird. We're just doing some writing, and that's it because um, I am unfortunately um, going to be busy with some work stuff after the stream's over for the next like 12 hours or so. So we're just doing short stream. I'm gonna write some stuff and then try and get my work. Then end stream so I can get my work stuff sorted. Um, good. Um, why he's here? Um, um, of the table. Of focus. As he. Action. Wait, did I say that he? Um, putting um, something about um, uh, uh, okay. Wait, um, um, uh, 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 hmm, hmm, hmm. Okay. Um, uh, uh, okay. Uh, uh, you, um, I'm doing well. I'm doing well. I'm just. He wasn't going to share what caused it, but. Yeah. Make emergency. Zelrix, I told you about this. This story, right? I think I did. So this is the working title is Not Your Average Xiangxia, but the idea is the main character Jin comes across an old man one day. This old man is beaten, bloody, almost on the verge of dying, and he finds him on the side of the road while he's like coming back from work or something one day. Point is, he helps this guy, helps restore him to health. Turns out this guy is a cultivator of the Chinese Xiangxia genre, and in return for helping him recover, he gives Jin a gift, which is the Heron, a flying boat capable of traversing the void between worlds. The Heron is a ship that is basically, it's a flying ship. It's bigger on the inside, and it goes very fast, and also can go between different worlds, and again survive in the space between different worlds. So, Jin is using this to travel from world to world, and he is learning about different things. The first world that he was in was Ranma, then he went to XCOM, then he went to Skyrim, and then very recently he went to BattleTech. Now this whole time he's mostly been had a peaceful relationship with the locals, other than the invading aliens in XCOM. Yeah, he can go to anime worlds as well, but he doesn't choose the worlds, right? His senses in terms of navigating between worlds is very limited, and then also it's not like there is any way of determining this is an anime world, or this is a world that matches a bit of my fiction. There's no way for him to be able to tell. So he also has never been to any of these worlds. He doesn't have knowledge of any of these universes. He arrives in them and he's learning about them as he's there. So he has no foreknowledge, nothing like that. He's just the only advantage he has is that there seems to be some sort of multiversal level of physics and metaphysics, which means that technically stuff that's possible in one universe is possible in another universe, assuming, given that a person that travels between those universes survives. So the ship itself is ensuring that Jin only goes to universes where he can survive, and by that same metric, he can bring technologies from one universe to another, and they'll basically work out. Right? And the other thing is that since he's learning both magical and key stuff and all of that other stuff, he is he's a very out of context problem for a lot of different things. In XCOM, he taught XCOM soldiers about he's just from a normal world. He's just a random original character, right? So he's coming at this from the perspective of modern, somewhat disaffected young man who enjoys learning about different things, a little bit brash. He's smart, but it's only until the effects of cultivation and all the other magic stuff that he's doing means that he's actually superhumanly smart. He's originally just normally smart, but then because he's doing stuff key enhanced memory and learning speeds and all of that stuff, and then psionic skills that allow him to pick up more information. It's not currently live. I want to get through a bit more and also have a little bit more free time in my life to get it to a stage that I'm comfortable posting it. But I am currently at about, let me check. How many is this? This is, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is 7 plus 7 plus 72, so 78,000 words. Yeah, this is Obsidian, but yeah. This is about 78,000 words worth of story so far. I think by the time I reach about 100, maybe 150k, I'll be happy with it. I do about, so each of these segments is about an hour. So it's about 1,000 words, a little over 1,000 words. And the first number is not like a chapter break or anything. It's just the number of worlds that Jin has visited. So Mass Effect was World 6. And the thing is, while he was in Battletech, which is World 4, he ran afoul of some of the local authorities. Battletech's like a bit of a crapsack space opera. So he ran afoul of some of the local authorities, got shot at by a giant robot, and the Heron got damaged a little bit. It wasn't something he couldn't repair. There are, between the magic he's learned and also the Heron did come with an instruction manual that includes basic field repair. He was able to like remove the damage, but he's also realized that, hey, shit, when I did that, I used some of the limited stock of repair material, and B, I've been flying around on a wooden ship. I can upgrade it. Like, there are instructions as a part of the manual on how you can like replace hull plating and all that stuff. I'd say the hull material and all that stuff and like the external chassis. So he could upgrade the Heron, but he doesn't have the resources to do it, and he doesn't because XCOM. So because of like some stuff that he's dealing with XCOM, he doesn't feel comfortable asking them for the sheer amount of resources it would take to do something like that. So he's now no, not really. I just, the only thing I did was I moved a little bit close to my face, and I fiddled a little bit with the noise cancellation. So yeah, the future worlds I have planned right now are Full Metal Alchemist, Cyberpunk, Avatar The Last Airbender, Red Line, and at some point in this area, Pacific Rim. Then I've also got Evangelion, Stargate, Star Wars, Nanaha, and Shadowrun. But I'll always take like examples for different, ideas for different ones to do. Probably won't do Dragon Ball. It would just be kind of boring. Naruto would work though. I can drop that into, and also One Piece. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I can put Bleach here. But yeah. But he had to make emergency repairs. Problem with Konosuba is that depending on how I play the gods in Konosuba, it would either be really boring or just kind of worthless, because Jin would either be way too strong for that universe, because he has a ship that could travel across the entirety of the continent in like a few seconds, and literal strategic weaponry, and as of like I think 3 more worlds from now, like in the time it would take to go that far. Um, and ReZero, maybe. I don't know what. I don't really want to get involved in too much time travel though. At least I don't want to get involved in any replicable time travel. Same reason I'm kind of leaving Star Trek out of it. Apparently that spooked him. Something fierce. No, I'm not familiar with. I'm not too familiar with ReZero. Yep, his name is Jin. Yeah, it's like the well, technically his name is. Wait, is his name? Did I actually name him Jin or? Yeah, no, I did actually name him Jin. But yeah, it's Jin in the same way as the original Middle Eastern word for genie. So he's a Jin. So his name is Jin. It's a little bit of an allusion to the fact that that for a lot of the people that he's directly interacting with, he's something of a wish come true, because he will introduce. Say he's not really stingy about sharing technology whenever he thinks it'll help people, like technology or rather, or like even magic and stuff. When he thinks it'll help people, though usually, though he might like want to cut down on stuff that directly involves his influence, like his own like work. So if it takes a lot of work from him, he might not be super involved in that. Apparently that's spooked. Unlikely? I mean, it really depends. If it makes sense for him to get involved with a character, then maybe. But Jin is very much like he is very much expecting to live for centuries, if not millennia. So he's in absolutely no hurry, so it might not be within the scope of the story. Though, to be fair, the scope of the story is already some 600 years or so. Because that's cultivation bullshit for you. So in Ranma, ki bullshit, which is like the fighting magic, means that you live longer. The like master martial artists in Ranma are like 300 plus years old. And then cultivation is like the whole concept of cultivation is you get stronger and you live longer, and then eventually you can like fight, you can punch gods or whatever. That's the whole concept of cultivation. He's not like thinking of it in the same way. He just enjoys the side benefits of it. Like his goal is not to punch God or whatever. Yeah. He would. Yeah. He would. Only change his appearance in relative to like other effects. Like for example, because the main source of his cultivation so far has been the heron. Basically, part of the stuff for cultivation is, in order to cultivate, you need a source of chi or some other stuff. Either you You can use ambient chi, but it's usually not enough to make quick progress. But if you have, but the Heron is, well, in lore, the Heron um, like a um, mobile sect boat where it's part of the concept of Xiangxia. It's like this idea that um, a big sect would commission something like this. So you know Naruto, right? Imagine Sage Mode, except for instead of absorbing Sage Mode, using it, and then it goes back into the environment, you do Sage Mode, and then you merge the excess Sage energy into your soul so that you permanently get stronger. That's kind of what the idea of cultivation is. And just like in Naruto, where there are some places with more natural sage energy and some places with less, in Xiangxia there are there are places that have like places and artifacts and various things that have lots of chi in them, where other things don't, where other places don't, and everywhere has some chi, but it would take a long time to progress anywhere quickly if you were just using the ambient chi in like some random backwater village. But if you have something like the Heron, which produces large amounts of void dragon chi, the difference between chi and sage energy is sage energy is the same stuff everywhere, but chi is kind of like flavored based on like what's making it. So you would have like fire chi and water chi and dragon chi, and in the case of the Heron, void dragon chi, because the way the ship works is there's basically the soul of a void dragon shoved into a ball that's hidden deep inside the ship. And that is how the ship is able to fly and travel between worlds. So, yeah. The rest of the folks, let's choose. So yeah, because of that, because he's been primarily cultivating with Void Dragon Chi, when he got seriously injured a while back, one of these documents is about 1,000 words. So 1,040 whatever, 1,040, 1,166, 1,100. Usually between 1,000 and 1,200 words. But I don't really think of any of these as one chapter, right? The way I'm really thinking about it is we have one arc that is going from worlds 1 to 7, which there was one arc which is from worlds 1 to 4. Yeah, this is he finds his first world, Ranma. He finds his second world, XCOM. He finds his third world, Skyrim. He finds his fourth world, Battletech. So these 4 worlds, well, mostly the first 3, but also a little bit of 4, are the first arc. That is, Jin is exploring the universe. He's having a great time. He's learning all sorts of new shit. I've written one, and I'm in the process of like starting the second one. But the first arc is Jin's got this cool ship. He's traveling from universe to universe. He's learning all sorts of cool stuff. He's becoming pretty strong. Arc 1 ends when he gets shot at by a giant robot and realizes, oh shit, I'm not as strong as I thought I was. I'm not as strong as I thought I was. He still survives, but he's got injured, and in a way that reminds him that, yeah, if the Heron takes too much damage, I'm trapped somewhere where people would damage my ship, and that's probably a bad place. So now he's in the process of setting up infrastructure. He's going from building up himself to building up his foundation, what he can rely on. Like until, say, so far, even up to 603, he has been relying on XCOM to give him any, to source any like advanced technology, even most of his food, all of that. He's like, he does some trading with Skyrim, but that's kind of facilitated through XCOM, because XCOM is the one who's giving him a lot of the stuff that he's dealing with in Skyrim, and he's just kind of acting as transport and getting paid for it. But he's realized that in order for me to like actually be able to like keep doing what I want to do and to progress further, I need to have my own like source of everything. So he decides, okay, I'm gonna go find an empty world where there is no one else around, and it is and I'm going to set up like basically like an outpost. I'm gonna have some industry. Some people are going to make me whatever metals I want and whatever machines I want. I guess these guys need some say these guys need food and shit. I don't really want to like keep bringing them food, so you know what? I'll get some farmers too. Okay. I mean, if they're going to be all of these farmers and other people, I probably should have some doctors. And well, I kind of don't want to do all the research on my own. Sometimes that gets a bit boring. It'd be fun to leave some of the boring projects to some people. Okay, I'll leave some scientists there as well. And then eventually he realizes at the end of Arc 2 that, oh shit, I just built a country. And because of the way he built it, which is going to people who are in shitty circumstances, finding the people who are finding the people who can fit his requirements, and then taking them to this place where so there are kind of villains, right? In XCOM there are the Ethereals. In BattleTech, he's had some trouble with Safe and the Free Worlds League in total, but there's also going to be some issues with Comstar and a few other people. In Halo, he's going to be on the side of the insurgency, the insurgency against the UNSC, which is like a few hundred years before the Covenant War, and he's going to be technically one of the bad guys from the perspective of Master Chief and all of those people. In Mass Effect, he's like, I think like almost 600 years before the events of the game. Timeline. So, yeah. Okay, so Geth War was in basically 1900. No worries. You won't need it to enjoy the stuff, because everything's being told from the perspective of someone who doesn't know shit about any of these worlds anyways. But yeah. So the events of XCOM, say the events of Mass Effect start in 2183, so it's like 300 years before. But yeah. Oh, Doom might be a useful one for some other stuff, so let me add that to the list. But yeah, Jin is approaching all of these universes as someone with no meta knowledge. He doesn't know how the future is going to go. So every single series is has like some like has at least a chapter. Jin's last name is never mentioned. It is intended to be never mentioned and will never be mentioned in the whole thing. This is he's only ever referred to as Jin. I feel like it would add stuff to the character that's not necessary. All you need to know about Jin is that his name's Jin, and that is what he will introduce himself to others by. Because he has absolutely no. He does not, like, care at all for, like, let's say he doesn't really even do that. Nope, he was raised by a mother. It's mentioned in the first chapter, where the reason he helped out the cultivator is because his mother was like, "Yeah, you should be kind to people. Put goodness out into the universe." And maybe his mom was right because he put goodness out of the out into the universe, and he got back a super cool spaceship. Okay, no worries. He doesn't want to. So yeah, that's kind of that's sort of like it's not a proper theme of the story because uh because I do have not. What is that? Eh, it seems overly complicated for what I would want out of a editor. This seems like it's made for like developing books, which is more than I need any of my stuff to do. He doesn't want to set up anywhere. He um um have to rent. Rent that drives. Uh, 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 okay. On our side for once. Um, Seems if not. Uh, uh, then at least not malicious. Going to um who then, when the delivery. Um. Please. Purpose. Just making sure. I just be finding okay. Just befriending him. As long as he's uh, as long as he sits somewhere to be able okay. Uh, uh, as long as he sets up somewhere close, we should be able to affect some level of contact past that. Well, I guess I'm out then. I'll leave things to you. The, she's in technology. Uh, 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 Mars or she's also interested. That could work. Uh, um, from what Ren was saying earlier, he's so very and enjoys talking shop. Sometime depending on depending on once we have everything. So once we are in a bit of better spot, we can okay. Okay. Let's see. We can, please not be able to. Another might be to see if he needs help with that. Uh, um, Warrior. Uh, uh, he sits up on. It might be better. They might take some of whatever he can. Ooh, that was fast. Yeah, I'm almost almost done with this chapter. It might be easier. It might be easier to set really if you especially if he's willing to help us especially if he is learning more zero. No way, no better. Learn. Okay. Okay. So, by the way, I guess. Hey, it's Nashi. How you doing? But yeah, does Obsidian have a plugin? What do you mean formats? Are you talking about? Because I can do this, which is bold, right? It's like this in the thing, but you can have plugins for different formats as well. And also, I'm fairly sure it copies out stuff fine. But yeah, I guess I believe you're new here, Tanashi, but this is the working title is Not Your Average Xianxia. It's a story that I'm currently working on that's based around the concept of how of like different worlds interacting and how that changes things, because I am the story is kind of based on Jin, who's this guy. He has a flying ship that can travel between universes, and he doesn't have any knowledge about the different fictional universes that I'm using as reference, but he hops between different universes, learns things in each of those universes, and sometimes like gets stuff, like transfers, like trade stuff across different universes. So in Ranma, he hasn't really done too much to Ranma other than like enable stuff that's already possible in that universe. But in XCOM, for example, he's taught the XCOM soldiers about Ki and also bought them potions from Skyrim, as among a few other things. In Skyrim, he gave the Nords cars and shit so that they could run so that they could blitzkrieg the Imperials, and it's caused a free Skyrim. Kind of. In this case, it is kind of more universe, more problems in that he's so far the thing has mostly been kind of chill for Jin, the main character, since he's been in something of a position of power until World 4, right? Until World, so in the first 3 worlds, plus 3 on 3. I don't know what you mean by that. You read Dragon Ball Z, Sailor Moon, StarCraft, Multicross in the 2000s. I guess that makes sense. Yeah. So yeah, I don't think I came across that one. I've come across Sailor Moon and a few other ones, and then also like a StarCraft and a few other ones. I don't think I guess I just was never really a big fan of Dragon Ball, so that's the one in that merge. Yeah, fanfiction.net's kind of mess. I think one of the bigger inspirations for this is actually a story called Cruel to Be Kind. That's on Sufficient Velocity. It's basically Cruel to Be Kind is like this, but more civilization focused, kind of. Fanfiction.net's always been a mess. It's why I prefer Spacebattles, Insufficient Velocity, and AO3 as like a third option. Yeah. So that's why I prefer the forum sites. They've got better moderation. They've got more like back and forth. It's a lot more enjoyable. So yeah. So yeah. That sounds possible, especially if he's interested in learning more about elephants. No better. Okay, so next chapter. It's 006.004. Okay, so now I'm coming into a bit of a crossroads. No worries. I remember my first attempt at writing a romance arc. It was freaking terrible. Still not any good at it, but that I kind of realized that that's mainly because I have next to no like empathy for that situation, or like there's like some part of it that my brain doesn't understand on a fundamental level. Yeah. Okay, so Zalrix, Itanashi. I'm trying to figure out this next stage of things. Okay, so you're going from courtship to family. So wouldn't it make more sense to have it like as a bit of like some stages where it goes from dating, maybe living together for a little while, preparation for marriage, post marriage, starting a family, like spread things out a little bit? Or is there a reason why you're going from dating to married and like aiming for a whole family? Oh. Wait, the other woman's kid? Okay. Is it like a surrogate situation? Okay, anyways. Okay, so now I need to think about how this is going. Um, okay. Okay, so the story goes, so the story right now is, um, I kind of don't want, so the, okay, so XCOM recently moved. So XCOM currently has moved from more EU inspired to more enemy within inspired to more like OG XCOM Interceptor inspired. So because of the recent changes. So I recently kind of wrapped up Skyrim, but with some plot threads hanging. I kind of did a thing in Skyrim where I made it so that because because Jin ended the Civil War so quickly, he accidentally the prophecy, and now it's going to happen later. So this Dragonborn got like written out of existence because Skyrim is united under the Nords, and suddenly the terms of the prophecy aren't valid. And the God of Time is not happy with that, but okay, whatever. So the setting is under appearance, it is what's it called? Where is it gone? There is an editor. Focus new tabs. Yeah, fine. That's fine. It is. Line numbers. Yeah, readable line length. Turn this off and it'll be wide. See? If I hide this, it's narrow again. But if you turn that back off, it's back to normal. I don't know why they call it readable line length, but that's what that's the setting that you need to change. Okay. So do I want to give Mass Effect a little more time to flesh out? No. I want to give I want to make World 7, quote unquote, be really long. No, I don't imagine most people prefer narrow. I can't imagine that. Okay. So where is he launching from? Is he launching from Mass Effect? Is he launching from XCOM? It would make some sense if he was launching from XCOM. Maybe he's back in Skyrim. That would make some sense. He's he's in Skyrim, he's traveling a few different worlds so that he can get a better like figure out what he did wrong in Halo and Mass Effect. And he's going to try again for his support world. That makes sense. After his two failures, Jin returned to that's horrific. So I've got a lot of games in my Steam library that I. Oh wait, well, what do you mean? Because I'm thinking, imagine someone like has all of their Steam games, and they have to beat every game going up to the top of the list. After his 2 failures, Jin returned to Valiant. Um, the the sorry, Valiant. He still hadn't mastered the art of traveling to other planes in Oblivion. And even if it did cost him a pretty depending on the number of games one has this result. Yeah. I'm gonna be back in just like 30 seconds, so one moment. Huh. Wait, is that like a legal thing or just like a survival thing? Like a medical thing? Okay, I'm gonna be right. Okay. Uh. mm, Uh. No, I mean like, the thing is, the way I would imagine it is, for someone to be, say, to do surrogacy, it might be more of like, uh, sort of like, it isn't really a, my text size is at like 24 or some shit. Font size 30. It's currently at 30. Though the reason for that is I like reading larger text. But yeah. Yeah. But what's it called? The surrogacy thing would likely be, at least in my opinion, something that's both related to health and also to, say, it might be medical in no worries. Yeah, 30 is what I use. But no worries. But yeah, the surrogacy pregnancy thing is probably because you'd want to know if the person um can can like will be able to successfully bring a child to term with no complications, right? Especially if they're going to get involved in like a medical procedure. So the easiest way of confirming that someone has that experience is just to know that, yeah, they've given birth before, right? So unless she got like had like a teen pregnancy, brought the child to term, and then like had to give up the child at an orphanage or something. It wouldn't really make sense. Yeah. Hmm. Hmm. That's usually okay. So that would probably have something to do with that would probably have to be like a fairly involved process, like to figure out if you're like how to deal with that as a as a character, because that's like very touchy topics for a lot of people. So navigating that well will be fairly tricky. Yeah, it still needs to be handled well though. Otherwise, it'll turn off a lot of people. Yeah. Uh, even if it costs him a pretty penny. Uh, needed to figure out what he was doing wrong. Fallon had. Is it Fallion or Fallion? It's one L. Fallion not being happy. Happy to be um kind of. I got a used 4K monitor from like a second-hand shop, and that's kind of my it's my viewing monitor. It has all of my media on it. Yeah, it was it that 4K monitor cost less than my normal my normal 1080p monitor that I have as my like gaming monitor. Nice. I think mine was also around 200 US. I've not been happy to. Oh wait, hold on, I just realized that. Oh wait, no, it's here. This is the Skyrim portion that I was worried about. Oh, chauffeur for you. Be to be Jim's uh, again uh, 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 yeah. Oh, that's true. I should probably change that. Home. Where do I change that? Wrong thing. Where do I change the thing? Settings? Oh, here it is. Bio. Um, what is EST? It's UTC. It's also not 2 p.m. Um, let's see. It is. Yeah. Hold on, I'm trying to remember what the correct time is. 10 a.m. There we go. That's fixed. Uh, uh, yep. It's the pickup pattern for, well, basically every mic. UTC. Universal Coordinated Time. Valorant had not been very happy to be shown. But if, um, Jin had managed to drive on into helping helping him convince the wrong people. Though, to be fair, he was also looking. Hmm, that said, the mage was also looking for an excuse to um, the mage was also looking for an excuse to um, get away from Dim Hollow crypt. He had been so he and the Dawn Guard. I'll switch away from this hat when I when I finally make my next model. And I've had so little time to work on it that I'm very seriously considering just kind of giving up on, sorry, just giving up on doing it myself and paying someone to do it. It would be a lot of money, but and it's not money that I'm earning from YouTube or Twitch anytime soon, so I don't know if I can justify it. Maybe I'll just draw a different hat. Still in range mechanism. In the Fallon had been able to uncover some magical enchantment suggesting presence of powerful. Oh yeah, I should probably add Assassin's Creed to my list of worlds that I want Jin to visit. Just about presence of powerful. Magical steel. But they were. He hasn't died yet, and if he as he is right now, if he dies, he just dies. That would be the end of the story. So, it's kind of not like expected to happen. You know, there's some suspension of disbelief. He's got a little bit of plot armor. He can get badly hurt. He has already gotten badly hurt, but he is not yet at the stage where he would be able to survive losing his physical body. That's like maybe a few centuries down the line, maybe a few millennia, or maybe 1 millennium. I don't know. It depends on how I write it, but it definitely. So he'll definitely be in significant danger, plenty more times before it comes down to that. So far unable to find means dispelling or unlocking. Wait, did I disable that? Oh no, it means the bot's still alive. Travel. Traveling the different realms of oblivion. Traveling different realms of oblivion had to be traveling to the different realms of oblivion had been enough to had been enough to give Jin an idea of what he was doing wrong. Apparently, the realms of oblivion he had used to get an idea of what unpopulated it felt like. Yeah, but how many chapters do you write? Like how many chapters would you say you write in a day or in a week? Since I aim for a little over 1,000 words per chapter, I can fairly regularly get 1 or 2 chapters out per day. Each chapter, quote unquote chapter, I don't really think of these as chapters. Each chapter is like at least one full detailed scene, and it gives a sort of nice pacing, I feel, to the overall story. Um, so we're not natural. In fact, uh, if it's like the battle spire, um, with the battle spire, um, um, and a number of other. So yeah, so you took about 3 days to write about about 7,000 to 10,000 words. If I'm like in a good mood for writing and I have the space to do it, I usually finish about 6 to 9 chapters in 3 days, and I do it, and I usually finish at least one of these pages in a day when I have some time to work on it. So I feel like it's just more of a what works better for me. What the way these chapters are set out, it gives me sort of a mental framework for how I want to structure things to give me an idea of like pacing, because I know, okay, since I want this scene to be about 1,000 words, I know that in order to get things to flow right, I need to roughly by this word count have this much progress happen in the scene. Or if I've written if I've written like 800 words where nothing of substance has been communicated, it just gets, kind of boring. So, yeah. Um, uh, the battle survivors and other planes. Actually, let me just go into planes. Planes, elders. Uh, uh, yeah, it might have more content for readers. No, I found that I could edit, so I could like record, like physically record the story, say the stuff in that time, and it would have worked out. But the problem I had was just keeping up with the amount of reading that I needed to do, because I don't really like reading shorter stories. So it just kind of didn't work out. Planes of existence. Okay, Deadlands, Everglow, not the Shivering Isles. The Abyss, that's fine. Yeah. Um, I have a story that is uh about 70, it's about 80,000 words right now. It just so happens to be in um it just so happens to be in about 80 different documents instead of two. So yeah. Um, this and a number of other planes that were empty. Were not say had all experienced events that had led to them becoming. They were so what they were in water. So what they uh were now. Okay. Yeah. So um you say like what's currently stopping you from writing the next chapter? Okay. So yeah. Like I had a similar problem with BattleTech, right? I only recently got into BattleTech. I still mostly only know it from FanWorks because BattleTech is a huge series. But I spent I think like 3 or 4 days having lore videos going on a second screen while I did work and stuff. So that was how I got caught up with all of that. That was a mess. I actually was in the process of doing that for Battlestar Galactica because I was considering including that in the setting. Actually, I might include that in future worlds, but BSG turned. It just felt like kind of weird. It didn't really fit. I'll add that to maybe. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Like I've kind of already made it clear in all of my things that it's not really the same original games, right? Original settings. Like XCOM, for example, it's like some weird mixture of the new games, the old games, the Long War mod, and a bunch of other stuff that all don't like directly correspond. But like someone who has experience with the franchise would still get some enjoyment from the story there. So get some enjoyment, some recognition, some familiarity, yada yada. I mean, that's one way of doing it. The other way of doing it is if you explicitly don't make it the same as the original. Like, do it in AUs of those universes, depending on how you want to have things play out, right? Like, maybe some aspect of why there's crossovers has resulted in something of an AU. So you can, as long as things are within the same feeling, the same spirit as the original, it should pass. Um, Yeah, but like just adding the crossover elements will probably not make it canon compliant. Unless you're saying like it's canon compliant before everything started. Traveling through. He seemingly picked up on the such when searching for these worlds. Yeah, like again, that's technically in the original manga, chakra was not invented by Hagoromo. Neither was modern ninjutsu. I believe ninjutsu was invented by Asura, the Uchiha ancestor, and chakra was technically like a natural thing that was first discovered by the Otsutsuki clan, including like the god Otsutsuki that's like somehow consumed enough chakra fruits to become basically a god. But yeah, he seemingly picked up on the sensation of such tragedies. Perhaps say that said some say that had some uncomfortable implications about those universes. He supposed that it was possible that for the Citadelian universe, the as it was called, Delian universe, more as it's called. Oh, thank you for rating me, Steve. How are you doing? So this is a work in progress thing called that is currently has the working title Not Your Average Xianxia. It's kind of a fan fiction, but it's more about the idea of hello Triangle Toll. I am observing you right back. But yeah, this is the core idea of this is that this guy Jin saves an old man. Old man turns out to be a really powerful say a person from the genre of Xianxia, which is a Chinese genre of stories where you cultivate strength by assimilating basically magical energies that flow around the universe. And as a thank you for nursing this injured old man back to health, he gets given the Heron. The Heron is a ship that is capable of traveling between universes. It's bigger on the inside and a few other cool things, but the core concept is Jin travels... Oh, thank you for the follow. That's really nice of you. But as he travels between worlds, he learns things from them. Yeah. No, Jin is kind of weird in that the only real exposure he has to Xianxia is the instruction manual for the Heron, which includes basic instructions on how to attune to it, which is the same thing as like, which is like the effective equivalent of like a really shitty cultivation manual. And that is that is currently the only experience he's had with proper Xianxia. Ooh, nice. How are the dragons doing? You winning? But yeah, the more important. So the thing is, like, he travels between different worlds. Like, the first world is Ranma, so he learned a lot about ki and martial arts there. A little bit about the weird magic bullshit that goes on in that universe. And then the second world he goes to is XCOM, and he gets involved in XCOM's fight against the aliens. He's helping out by like training them in ki and also like bringing them cool shit from Ranma, and then later when he discovers the third world of Skyrim, stuff from there. Oh, take away their hordes. They need to know that they're being bad dragons. Oh gods. Yeah. So yeah, currently he's just yeah. Currently we are moving from the first arc into the second arc. Yeah. So currently we're moving from the first arc into the second arc. The first arc was I got this cool ship. I'm going to all these different places. I'm learning a lot and I'm getting powerful. Second arc is, oh shit, someone just shot my ship and it got damaged. He was in Battletech at the time, gets shot by a giant robot. The ship gets damaged. It's not permanent. He's able to fix it. But as a result, he realizes, yeah, I've been kind of stupid. And he decides that, okay, I need like some actual support here, right? I can't just go around gallivanting like a dumbass. So what he's decided is, okay, I need like parts to upgrade the Heron. I need like food and crap. Okay, I'm gonna find some people. I'm gonna find an empty world so that they do that. In Battletech, there are a lot of people who are struggling with like pirates and shit. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go set up this empty world. I'm going to bring people. Let's say I'm gonna find people that are like that will be able to farm shit for me and like mine crap for me and like refine it and do a bunch of other stuff. Yeah, and that's what you get for reading far too much Xiangxia. No, Jin. I still haven't decided if Jin actually cares about any of that kind of stuff. But yeah, he kind of isn't realizing it until the start of the third arc, but he's basically putting together a small country, so that he doesn't have to rely on other people. Rely on like vague trade dealings in order to get supplies for his explorations, right? So it isn't until like another 100,000 words into this story that he's going to realize, oh shit, I just accidentally hit a country. And then the next arc, the third arc, is going to be him dealing with the fact that he is suddenly in charge of an entire nation. And like he's going to take responsibility for that, but he is not going to know how to properly deal with the fact that of what he's done. And yeah. And then once the nation in question is stable, I'm going to have him run into like actual cultivators again, and that's going to be like the big bad, like not exactly the big bads, but like the top tier of enemy that he's going to run into, right? There are going to be like some tech equivalents where it's going to be not just cultivators. There are also going to be like other interdimensional empires and stuff that that he needs to deal with and help protect his country from and all of that stuff. And his DAO would probably be something like the DAO of the DAO of insight, or maybe the DAO of engineering or some shit, where it's like, I need to learn about the universe so that I can make the universe my bitch. Because he doesn't really treat any of the mystics as like he by this point he is a psychic mage who can also say who is also like a world class martial artist, and uh, he's like, as he deals with Mass Effect and other universes, he's probably also going to be like ending up in ending up in like all sorts of different situations. So what's it called? Um, so, bleh. Despite all of this, he doesn't really think of. He doesn't like he considers. He thinks about the mysticism of all of that as like the same way as you would same way you would think about the physics of electromagnetism. Yeah, it's weird. Sure, I need to draw like these conceptual linkages in order to do magic, and I need to like sacrifice things with like the same mimetic properties as whatever I want, whatever enchantments I want to create. But that's just how magic works. There's nothing special about that. And he doesn't have a sense of wonder or like a sense of like holiness almost about, like, he doesn't have a reverence for magic or chi or anything like that. So it's a very different approach, and like that's going to be played off in the later stages as he is like kind of in the middle of say technological empires on one side. Ooh, nice. We shall have wise dragons. We shall have Eastern dragons. They will get A's. They won't be marauding thugs like those Western dragons. He supposed that it was possible that for the Sidelian universe, that the Morning War, as it was called, could be what he picked up on. Hundreds of millions, billions of people died in that war, and the suffering across. Not to mention. Oh, damn thugs. Are they at least hoarding gold? That's how you know Western dragons are succeeding, is they've got a lot of gold. Do they have a lot of gold? Not to mention the that was being called. When did the Batarians show up? Mass Effect. Yep. Not to mention the what that was being caused by the Batarians. Are they making that bank? Come on. But yeah. There's some. With that, maybe these are post treasure. I guess that could work. Yeah, that could work. Anyways, that had some uncomfortable implications about those universes. Um, okay. Hmm. Is the fuzz dragon a good boy or a good girl? He still had no idea why. He still had no idea why. So what would have caused in good boy. He's a good boy. Does he get to sleep on the bed? Universe. He still had no idea what would have caused such a feeling in the UEG universe. Still, it had given him, let's say it had given him the right, say given him a few hints, so given him the context necessary to take a new look at, so to take a new so to get a better the okay. Okay. Let's see. What is this one? This one is. Where is X? So I called. Okay, so Narima is sparkly. The inner sphere feels expansive. XCOM feels buzzing. And Nern feels like a lot of different things and is a little bit overwhelming. He picks he picks something that is similarly fuzzy but less. So he was thinking something like XCOM, but maybe the fuzziness means like psionic powers. So maybe less than that. And then he ends up in UEG, say in Halo, and then he goes for okay, maybe it wasn't fuzzy, maybe something else that's like a little like fuzzy, maybe it's something else, and he goes to mossy, which is where you went Mass Effect, and warmth was never covered, so I'm going to say warmth is all of them. Sensation, say is warmth is life, but like a sort of flat, muted, and expansive warmth would feel more like life everywhere but kind of weak. So that would kind of make sense. Still, given the context necessary to give our sensations that he was feeling while he perused in the void. He'd ended up trying to feel for sort of warmth that he could pick almost like it felt a little comforting. Let's say oddly familiar. He was say Uh, on the assumption that it was life of some kind, he began searching for universes that had a sense of life, but also um but also uh had a sort of thinner feeling, of thinner expression of it, as though the life was weaker and more similar to the uh, background. It was here that he had finally struck gold. He spent days in orbit of the of the uh, first planet he found. He's finally succeeded. He has found an empty world. He is taking his first steps to becoming I'm not even sure what he would be, because like he's not really a king or anything like that, because he's not present enough to be like such a direct force. He's more like he I guess, but from the perspective of the locals, like I guess he would be kind of in the same kind of slot as like a founding father or like an elder. So I guess he would be I guess he would be considered like um uh, it's like what kind of like what uh, so strange. Okay, he had spent days around searching the vast fields, grass, and forests, and that covered the unfamiliar land masses below for any sign of intelligence. And and once he had celebrated the discovery of such world, gone out and done a quick cir- circuit of the nearby stars. I do know Asmongold. I don't particularly care for Asmongold. In my opinion, he is only useful as a data point, and should never be considered a source for any sort of intelligent discourse. But that's my personal opinion. I just don't have a very high opinion of the man. Done a quick circuit of nearby stars. Um, even sorry. Um, there were a few planets with any form. He had stumbled across one with life forms that reminded him a great deal. Dinosaurs and another uh, another that had strange bugs that um so, gigantic bugs and tiny mammals. There were a few planets. So there were a few planets with uh, uh, some form of life, and uh, including one with life forms that are that one uh including one that had life forms, another one that had gigantic clouds and tiny mammalian creatures, and a third with a large ocean going creatures. He'd been careful to see if anything existed beneath the waves too. There was no sign of intelligent life within nearly. How many stars in 100 light year radius? Within nearly 100 light years of the planet he arrived. Okay. I mean, the only reason I don't read light novels is because I don't really read a lot of like normally published fiction. I've read a bunch of like fan fiction based on light novels, but like the original light novels, fan fiction is free and there's a lot of it, and it goes into a lot of topics that I prefer more than a lot of light novels. So me. Though I did read the whole Dan manga, and that was brilliant. Oh, that reminds me, I should probably put Dan somewhere on this list. With no, it's not done yet, but I read up to where it was current. I think like end of last month. So yeah, like as of like 3 weeks ago, I read up to the latest chapter. Ooh, nice. Within nearly a week of with nearly a week of sensor data using every form. With nearly a week of sensor data across I managed to keep on it for quite a while. I think the part that got a little bit even really there was like one arc that I kind of skipped, and that was the arc where you had like the NEET showing up. Okay. NEET, not in education, employment, or training. It's a Japanese term for basically the kind like it's kind of it's sort No, no, not meat. And I was using meat in the pejorative there, so it would also like be kind of the Japanese version of incel. Creatures. Um. 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 He. Sorry. Given that he had arrived right next to any sort of I remember like not caring too much about Oshinoko because of the idol stuff. Like given that he had arrived right next to a sort of a civilization in his last jumps, um, he felt somewhat safe this time. My avatar? Are you talking about my on-screen avatar? I am an Eldritch Abomination. Um, I believe the lore goes that um, my species evolved on a world where magic was fairly commonplace to the point where um, we we developed magic, like the first magic spells, around the same time that about the same point in our evolution as humans first developed stone tools. And part of what we developed were sort of like druidic and say druidic spells are centered around the manipulation of life. And somewhere along that line, we figured out how to transfer our souls into new bodies. And it started with just like possessing animals and shit because like that's useful sometimes. But as we also figured out how to like manipulate flesh, we started customizing our future bodies, and we kind of forgot what we're supposed to look like. So this is my custom body. I made it after losing my old one after ending up here on Earth, and yeah. Uh, Given that he arrived right next to any sort of civilization of the some safe this time. He ended up words in Proto-Indo-European. Demo Proto-Indo-European translator. Late. Demo. Ooh. Nice. Demo. 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 naming the the planet Demo. Planet Demo. Yeah. Demo, as he ended up naming the planet, was fair to say was largely covered in so it was mostly covered in vegetation. There were some animals up there. Demo was a planet that seemed fairly early in its evolution. Demo was a planet that was fairly early in its evolution. Oh yeah, I also wanted to add Factorio to that list of world planning things. Okay, so Demo, there was a planet that I should probably add. So let me rename these. Ranma. Rename. Rename. This is Skyrim. Just to keep track of what worlds for BattleTech. Rename Halo, Mass Effect, Demo. Demo was a planet that seemed fairly early in its evolution. With plants and simple trees on land. In the water, he could see primarily the plants and simple trees on land. He'd found no flowers, nor any other form of, nor any other indication that pollinators of any kind existed on this world. The sea was a slightly different story. The waters contained some life, generally simple creatures with very few with any sort of eye at all. The blind, worms and mollusks. Mollusks seemed to move around, feeding on plants, plants, and in some cases, any creature. fortunate enough to stumble onto. The air was really, quite breathable. More okay. Cheers. Have a good evening, afternoon, I guess. More oxygen in it than proportional. And the planet itself had little more gravity, about 1.1 Gs. In the sky above, there hung means stellar G-type lifespan of stars by G-type Pygmalion, not too dissimilar from Sol. Perhaps a little smaller. Perhaps a little smaller, since his calculations had the orbit of Deimos being only about 300 of its days, which was perhaps which were only slightly longer than. So if we do is equal to 365.25 times 24 divided by 300 point 10 times 25. Yeah. So yes. 300 of its days, which are only slightly longer than Earth's. About 25 hours instead of 24. Not about 25 hours instead of 24. with a little more partially. He first thing he demo Obsidian plugin vault specific dictionary. Dictionary. Okay, whatever. Demo. Once it had been determined as or once it had been finally jumped safe enough for his purposes, the first thing he did create so it was to unload several pallets of building materials from the earth. When he had first decided to do this, so he had gone. So he'd enough building gear. building here. Building gear supplies. Create a basic set of in this particular case, a few he began surveying for good places to set things. He knew he'd been doing his research on what made places good for various purposes, and had eventually returned container home wiki There's spark picture from a shield mode looking to check the sharp element card construct. Examples. And had eventually determined that no one place would serve all his needs. He needed he needed a relatively fertile river valley for agriculture. The appropriate the water contained a great deal of life. Fish, fish, crustaceans. Mollusks, all sorts of other aquatic species roam the in the lived in the ocean with lived in the ocean with mollusks. Even a few amphibious creatures that would spend their time would spend such short periods out of the water on beaches and intertidal zones. You need a relatively fertile riverwell for agriculture. The appropriate, large, flat, stable places for industry and for industry and human. He'd ignore, so he decided against trying to aim for any mines. Not only would he want to avoid having people live too close to them when he could just have transports bring back refined materials. And he also wanted to live on the equator, just in case he managed to just please manage to get to the point of having cool stuff like orbital elevators of his own. And he eventually found a world, a planet, a world. Asgard. Download. Edit. No. How do I set this to cover the whole thing again? Oh damn it! Where is the damn thing? Map seeds, yada 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 yada. Options. It should be under options. See. Color transparency on the preview. Planet generator. I know I used to do this. I used to have a tool that let me. So I used to have a setting in this that allowed me to do the whole globe. Like, if I look at this, right? It's got like half the planet here. Oh, here we go. Whole world. That's much better. New map. New map. Globe. That is way too much land. Options. Where is it? Configure world. Good world. New map. Come on. New map. Why is there so much land? Options. Maybe if I do that. Um. Uh, I think this is kind of there. And if I view it as a globe, will this work? Okay, this is the world that I'm going for. So we're gonna name this. What's it? What I name it? Demio. Demio. Export. Full. Copy. Okay, good. So now I have a copy of Demio. Then now, can I drop this in media? And will you see it? Perfect. Okay, so now if I not emblems, not states. Okay, anyways, point is, point is, it's going to be on the equator. It's somewhere around here. So it'll be, yeah. He eventually found a plateau. Say a plateau. Not far. Sorry, not. Say, on. Last few. Universes. Vimeo was Okay. Demio, as he decided to name it, was almost. I'm going to assume that there's like a little bit of ocean on the sides to like make it make more sense, but yeah. 50%. Um, with what could be considered something a supercontinent and continent that made up the majority of the landmass. The vast. Um, um, oh, well, so that may just be the ice caps connecting the connecting two uh two land masses that uh were separated by the two immense oceans. Separated by the two immense oceans. It was a plant that seemed fairly early on its evolution. Demo. Okay. He eventually found a plateau on the say on one of the continents between the ocean between the smaller ocean and a massive inland sea. Yeah. Okay. Plateau on one of the continents between the smaller ocean and a massive inland sea. A massive inland sea. The top was generally pleasant, a little arid, but still covered in what seemed like endless seas of grass. A little to the tool pad label. Where's the PIE dictionary again? Proto Indo-European vocabulary. Damas. Okay. Three. Okay. Yep, I'm just getting rid of everything. Delete. Okay. Delete that. Remove. 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 Wait, no. That's a lie. Oh, that's right. Okay. Layers. There we go. And then we're going to export as an SVG. And then we're going to pop back in here. We're going to delete that. Delete. We're going to grab this one, put in here, and then we are going to export. So then we go here, show in System Explorer, delete that JSON, and put this new JSON in here. Good. We've got, yep. A little to the north was several river valleys. Several river valleys, which promised to be quite fertile. Um. Oh. Boy. They would. Rich, dark, soil. Though he would probably, be able to substitute. Um. Substitute. With fertilizers, should he so choose. Um. Um. The plateau continued south, with, south, and, there was, the large inland sea would no doubt, provide him, with ample, water for any industry. Um, the plateau continues south, and the large inland sea would no doubt provide him with ample water for any industry. Uh, 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 the plateau continues south, and the inland sea would no doubt provide him with the ample water for any industry. Um, with ample water for any industry. Um, a large inland sea that would no doubt provide him ample water for any industry. The water industry. Traveling. Here, he decided to, establish, his settlement. Um, as, um, uh, he decided to establish, two settlements. One atop, the plateau, and it was here that he decided, to establish, first settlement, along the northern edge of the he intended to, using resources, he purchased from Nerima, and a few, some local wood. He created, several bunkhouses, with, communal, living spaces. He created, not creates, created several bunkhouses, commuting living spaces for dozens of, say, for what could easily be a few hundred people. Looking out. Monsieur decided to establish the first settlements. A set of twin cities that he would call Domos. It is Domos, right? It's Damas. Damas. In time, he wanted to build into the cliff face that separated lower fertile valley from the upper plateau. Twin towns that he would call Damas. In time, he wanted to build into the cliff face that separated the lower fertile valley from the upper plateau. And then later, once I have some free time, I'll write about the construction of Damas. And that's all for today. Thank you all for watching. And that'll be all.